This isn't just an idealistic fantasy. It's a mindset shift grounded in one of the most powerful and time-tested philosophies in history, Stoicism. A timeless philosophy for modern relationships. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy practiced by great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches us how to develop emotional resilience, self-sufficiency, and control over our happiness. It encourages us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and perceptions, while letting go of what we cannot, such as how others feel or behave. At its core, Stoicism is about mastering yourself so that external circumstances, including romantic relationships, do not dictate your emotions or self-worth. It teaches us that true confidence comes from within, not from someone else's approval, attention, or affection. But how does this relate to making someone miss you? Why most people get it wrong? Most people believe that if they want someone to miss them, they have to play games, ignore texts, make them jealous, or act indifferent to manipulate emotions. But paradoxically, the more you try to force someone to miss you, the less effective it becomes. People can sense desperation and neediness, even when it's subtle, and nothing is less attractive than someone who relies on external validation to feel complete. Instead of chasing someone's attention, Stoicism offers a different approach. By focusing on ourselves, becoming emotionally independent, and truly embodying self-sufficiency, we naturally become more attractive and, ironically, more likely to be missed. Why this matters: breaking free from the cycle of seeking validation. Love and relationships, many people unknowingly seek attention as proof of their worth. They believe that if someone texts them, thinks about them, or longs for them, it means they are valuable. But this is a dangerous mindset because it places their self-esteem in the hands of others. If someone stops paying attention, does that mean they are suddenly less worthy? If someone doesn't miss them, does that mean they are not lovable? Of course not. Yet so many people fall into this emotional trap, constantly measuring their self-worth based on how much validation they receive from a partner or an ex. This creates emotional instability and, even worse, gives away all personal power. Stoicism teaches that we must be whole within ourselves first. The moment we stop craving external validation and instead shift our focus towards self-improvement and inner peace, something incredible happens. We become truly desirable. Because here's the truth: people are naturally drawn to those who are confident, independent, and content on their own. When you stop chasing and start thriving in your own life, that's when others take notice. And ironically, the less you focus on making someone miss you, the more likely it is to happen. Call to action: build the mindset that makes you unforgettable. If you're ready to take control of your emotions, relationships, and personal power, then this video is for you. We are about to explore the Stoic principles that will not only make you stronger and more attractive, but will also help you develop a mindset that commands respect and admiration. Hit the like button if you're ready to shift your mindset. Comment below with the Stoic principle that resonates most with you. Subscribe now for more insights on how Stoicism can transform your relationships and your life. Now let's dive in. 1. The illusion of external validation. The common pitfall: measuring self-worth by attention. Received, one of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships, whether romantic, friendships, or even social interactions, is tying their self-worth to how much attention they receive from others. We've all been there, constantly checking our phones to see if they replied, overanalyzing their last message, or feeling an emotional high when they engage with us, only to feel low when they don't. It's a dangerous cycle, one that keeps us emotionally dependent on external factors we can't control. When someone gives us attention, we feel validated and important. But when they pull away or seem indifferent, our confidence takes a hit. It's as if their recognition of us defines our value. But here's the problem. This is not a sustainable way to live. If our sense of self-worth is based on how others perceive us, we will always be at the mercy of their actions and emotions. This kind of dependency leads to insecurity, neediness, and ultimately frustration. The reality is, people's attention is fleeting and unreliable. They have their own lives, emotions, and priorities. So if we're constantly looking outward for validation, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. But what if we approached this differently? What if we could cultivate a self-worth so strong that it remained intact regardless of external validation? The Stoic perspective. True confidence comes from within. This is where Stoicism offers a powerful shift in mindset. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that our happiness, peace, and confidence should never depend on anything outside of our control. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means that true confidence doesn't come from someone liking our Instagram post, responding to our text, or saying they miss us. True confidence comes from within, from knowing who we are, what we value, and recognizing our worth independent of external factors. When we stop chasing validation from others, something remarkable happens. We become less reactive. Other people's opinions and actions no longer dictate our emotions. We feel liberated. We are no longer trapped in the endless cycle of approval seeking. We radiate confidence naturally, because we no longer need someone to validate us. People are instinctively drawn to us. The irony is that when you no longer crave validation, people are more likely to give it to you. Think about the most confident, charismatic people you know. Do they constantly seek reassurance, or do they seem self-assured regardless of what others think? That's the power of internal validation. It makes you unshakable. Thought experiment. What happens when you stop seeking their attention? Let's try an experiment. Imagine for a moment that you stop seeking their attention entirely. No more texting first just to get a response. No more overanalyzing their words. No more wondering if they're thinking about you. Instead, you shift all of that energy inward. You start prioritizing yourself, your passions, your personal growth, your happiness. What happens? Your emotional state stabilizes. Because you're no longer on an emotional roller coaster dictated by their actions, you feel more grounded. You regain your personal power. Instead of giving them the ability to control your feelings, you take back control. You become more attractive. When you focus on yourself, you naturally become more intriguing and desirable. People are drawn to those who are fulfilled on their own. And ironically, the moment you stop needing their attention, they are more likely to give it. Not because you manipulated them, but because you became someone truly worth missing. This is the paradox of attraction. The less you depend on external validation, the more others are drawn to you. So ask yourself, are you living for their approval, or are you living for yourself? Because once you start truly living for yourself, you won't need to make anyone miss you. They'll miss you naturally. How emotional independence makes you more attractive. Now that we've broken free from the illusion of external validation, the next step is to cultivate emotional independence. The key to becoming effortlessly attractive and someone people genuinely admire. Let's dive into it. 2. How emotional independence makes you more attractive. The paradox of desire. The more you chase, the more it eludes you. There's a universal truth in human psychology. The more desperately we chase something, the more it slips away. This applies to everything: success, happiness, and most certainly relationships. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted someone's attention so badly that you kept reaching out, trying to make plans, or subtly trying to impress them, and yet, the more you tried, the more distant they became? This is because people are naturally repelled by neediness and drawn to those who exude confidence and self-sufficiency. When someone senses that you are seeking their attention to fill a void in your life, it creates pressure. That pressure can feel overwhelming, even if it's not intentional. Instead of making them want to be closer, it often has the opposite effect. They pull away. On the other hand, when someone is content within themselves, radiating confidence and emotional independence, they naturally become more attractive. This is because we are drawn to those who don't need us to feel whole, but who choose to share their life with us anyway. This concept is not new. It's deeply embedded in the teachings of Stoicism. Live a life so fulfilling that people are drawn to you instead of chasing after someone and trying to make them miss you. The Stoic approach is to cultivate a life that is so rich, fulfilling, and purpose-driven that people naturally gravitate toward you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should. Purely be one." In other words, stop worrying about what others think. Stop trying to prove your worth to them, and instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. How does this work in relationships? Instead of waiting for someone to text you, engage in activities that genuinely excite you. Work on a personal project, take up a new hobby, or develop a skill. Instead of wondering if they miss you, build a lifestyle that makes you feel fulfilled, regardless of their presence. Instead of adjusting your personality to fit their preferences, stand firm in your values and interests. Be someone they admire, rather than someone who simply adapts to them. When you live your life with passion and purpose, you stop being an option and start becoming a priority. Emotional resilience and self-sufficiency are magnetic. What makes someone attractive is not just their looks or charm, it's their energy, confidence, and emotional stability. People are naturally drawn to those who are self-assured. They don't seek validation because they already know their worth. Have a passion for life. They have interests, goals, and ambitions that go beyond a relationship. Are emotionally resilient. They don't let rejection or setbacks define their happiness. This doesn't mean shutting people out or becoming emotionally distant. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about knowing that while love and relationships are beautiful, they should enhance your life, not define it. And the paradox? The less you depend on someone's attention, the more likely they are to give it to you. So instead of asking, "How do I make them miss me?" ask yourself, "How do I build a life so fulfilling that my presence is naturally valued?" When you make that shift, you won't have to chase attention. It will find you effortlessly. The power of self-improvement and detachment. Now that we've covered the importance of emotional independence, the next step is mastering self-improvement and detachment. Two critical Stoic principles that not only make you more attractive, but also give you a deep sense of fulfillment and inner peace. Let's dive into it. 3. The power of self-improvement and detachment. Many people spend countless hours strategizing how to make someone miss them, whether it's by playing hard to get, withholding responses, or carefully curating their social media presence. But all of these tactics are external focused, meaning they place your happiness and worth in someone else's hands. The Stoic approach is the opposite. Stop waiting for someone to miss you. Stop wondering what they think of you. Stop making them the center of your thoughts. Instead, invest all that energy into improving yourself. Instead of asking how to get them to notice you, ask yourself how to become someone you admire. The truth is, the most attractive people, those who are truly missed, are not the ones constantly seeking validation. They are the ones who are too busy building a fulfilling life to worry about whether someone is thinking about them. Think about it. The people you admire the most, the ones who leave a lasting impact, are those who have depth, ambition, and a strong sense of self. They don't chase attention. They naturally command it through their presence, achievements, and the way they carry themselves. This is why self-improvement and detachment are so powerful. They shift your focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. And ironically, that's what makes you truly desirable. So what does self-improvement actually look like? Here are some key areas to focus on. Learning new skills, whether it's mastering a language, picking up an instrument, or developing a craft, makes you more confident and well-rounded. It also gives you something far more interesting to talk about than just your relationship status. Mastering your emotions is rare and attractive. When you can handle rejection, setbacks, and even heartbreak with grace, you demonstrate emotional resilience, a trait that naturally commands respect. Pursuing personal goals, whether it's advancing in your career, starting a passion project, or getting in the best shape of your life, makes you intrinsically valuable, not just valuable in relation to someone else. Expanding your social circle is important. Instead of obsessing over one person's attention, nurture different aspects of your life. Make new friends, network, and build meaningful connections. This naturally enhances your energy and social presence, making you more intriguing. Taking care of your physical and mental health is key. Confidence radiates when you feel good inside and out. Regular exercise, good nutrition, mindfulness, and meditation not only improve your well-being, but also strengthen your mental fortitude, making you less emotionally reactive. Living with purpose means having a clear vision for your life. What excites you? What legacy do you want to leave? When you have direction, you become naturally magnetic because people are drawn to those with a strong sense of purpose. Every hour spent ruminating over someone who isn't thinking about you is an hour wasted that could have been invested in becoming a better, more fulfilled version of yourself. And ironically, the moment you shift your focus inward, you stop being an option and start becoming a priority. You might be wondering why this approach works so well. People are naturally drawn to those who are passionate, independent, and deeply engaged in their own growth. Confidence is magnetic. When you are focused on improving yourself rather than seeking attention, you project unshakable self-assurance. Scarcity creates value. When you are constantly available and emotionally dependent, people take you for granted. But when you're busy living your best life, your presence becomes more valuable. You remove pressure and expectation. When you stop trying to manipulate someone into missing you, they feel a natural desire to reconnect because your energy is no longer needy. It's inspiring. Your absence becomes meaningful. Instead of artificially creating space to make someone miss you, you naturally become less available because your life is full and exciting. And that's when they start to feel your absence. Attraction is not about chasing, it's about becoming. The more you focus on becoming your best self, the more desirable you become without even trying. Instead of playing mind games, you naturally leave an impact simply by being someone worth missing. So rather than wondering if someone is thinking about you, ask yourself if you are becoming the kind of person who leaves a lasting impression. If the answer is yes, then you've already won because you are now living for yourself, not for their approval. Now that we've covered the power of self-improvement, the next step is understanding why space is essential in relationships and how true Stoic detachment makes people appreciate your presence even more. Let's dive into it. Duty 4. The role of absence in relationships. One of the most overlooked yet powerful dynamics in human relationships is the role of absence. Many people believe that constant availability strengthens relationships, that always being present makes someone appreciate them more. But in reality, the opposite is often true. While space is essential, constant availability diminishes value. When something is always there, it is often taken for granted. This applies to relationships, friendships, and even material possessions. Think about it. When was the last time you truly appreciated something that was readily available to you every day? On the other hand, when something or someone is scarce, their value increases. This is the foundation of desire. This isn't about playing mind games or intentionally withdrawing to manipulate someone's emotions. It is about understanding that space allows appreciation to develop naturally. Relationships, like anything valuable in life, require balance. Too much presence can lead to emotional saturation, where the other person stops noticing or valuing your presence. This is why absence, when balanced correctly, creates desire. It gives the other person a moment to reflect, to feel the shift in energy, and to realize the value of what was once there. This applies to all types of relationships, not just romantic ones. Even in friendships, people often miss those who are busy living their own lives rather than those who are constantly seeking attention. The Stoic view on detachment, Stoicism, teaches that while relationships can be deeply fulfilling, they should not be the source of our happiness. A truly resilient person enjoys relationships but does not depend on them for emotional stability. Seneca, a well-known Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." This means that if you are constantly available, constantly seeking someone's presence, you are not truly centered in yourself. Emotional detachment does not mean avoiding love or connection. It means appreciating relationships without being enslaved by them. When you understand that your well-being does not rely on another person's attention or presence, you naturally become more attractive. There is strength in being able to walk away when necessary, in knowing that you are complete with or without them. True detachment is about being present when you are with someone and being fully engaged in your own life when you are not. It is about creating a relationship where your presence is appreciated, not expected. Cultivate a life outside of your relationships. If you want someone to miss you, give them something to miss. This does not mean disappearing or ignoring them. It means living a life that is so rich and fulfilling that your absence is noticeable. Pursue your passions, build meaningful connections outside of your romantic relationships, and develop hobbies and interests that bring you joy. When you do this, you become someone who is genuinely interesting and inspiring, rather than someone who is merely waiting to be noticed. When you are always available, people may subconsciously take your presence for granted. But when you are busy living a purposeful life, your absence creates curiosity, appreciation, and even longing. The best way to be missed is to be someone worth missing. Now that we understand the power of absence and detachment, let's explore how to apply Stoic principles in daily life to create a presence that lingers in people's minds. Not because you tried to force it, but because you naturally left an impact. Let's move on to the final step. 5. How to apply Stoic principles to make them miss you. By now, we've explored how self-improvement, emotional independence, and the power of absence naturally make you more attractive. But how do you put this into daily practice? How do you internalize these Stoic principles and embody them in a way that draws people toward you effortlessly? The answer lies in living with purpose, focusing on what you can control, and embracing the unexpected. Live with purpose. Find meaning beyond relationships. Many people unknowingly make relationships their primary source of happiness and self-worth. They structure their days around someone else's attention, adjust their moods based on another person's actions, and measure their value by how much they are desired. But what happens when that person pulls away? What happens when the validation stops? This is why living with purpose is essential. When your life is filled with meaningful pursuits, whether it's your career, personal growth, fitness, creative projects, or helping others, you become fulfilled within yourself. You are no longer just someone in search of validation, but someone with depth, direction, and independence. Think of the most magnetic people in your life. Chances are they don't revolve their existence around relationships. Instead, they have something bigger than themselves. A passion, a mission, a sense of direction that makes them engaging and compelling. When you live with purpose, you naturally stop seeking attention because you are too busy creating, learning, and evolving. Ironically, this is what makes people notice you and want to be around you. Control what you can. Focus on your thoughts, behaviors, and growth. A core Stoic teaching is that the only things truly within our control are our thoughts, actions, and perceptions. Everything else, other people's opinions, their actions, and their feelings, is beyond our influence. Many people waste energy trying to manipulate how others feel about them. They play games, overanalyze messages, and try to appear a certain way to trigger a reaction. But none of this actually creates lasting attraction. It only fosters insecurity. Instead of focusing on how someone perceives you, focus on your mindset. Are you living with confidence and self-respect, or are you acting out of fear and neediness? Your actions. Are you investing in yourself, staying disciplined and pursuing growth? Your reactions. Do you let others' behavior dictate your emotions, or do you maintain your inner stability? When you stop trying to control how someone feels about you and instead focus on being the best version of yourself, you become naturally magnetic. People are drawn to those who are strong in their own identity, who are not easily shaken by external circumstances. Embrace the unexpected. Let go of the need to control outcomes. One of the hardest but most powerful lessons in Stoicism is accepting uncertainty. People often ask, how do I make them miss me? But this question implies a need for control, a desire to force an outcome. The truth is, you cannot control whether someone misses you. What you can control is how you show up in the world, how you carry yourself, and what kind of energy you bring to your relationships. The rest is out of your hands. When you stop forcing outcomes and instead trust the natural flow of life, you remove all pressure from the relationship. People feel more at ease around you because they sense you are not trying to extract something from them. Instead of trying to manipulate someone into missing you, you simply live your life in a way that makes your presence valuable. When you let go of expectation and attachment, something incredible happens. You give people space to choose you. And when they do, it's real. It's not because you played a game, but because your energy, your confidence, and your genuine sense of self made them naturally drawn to you. Let them come to you, if you want. Someone to miss you. The answer is not in chasing them, proving your worth, or playing mind games. The answer is in becoming someone worth missing. Live with purpose. Focus on what you can control. Let go of attachment to specific outcomes. When you embody these Stoic principles, you won't have to wonder if someone is thinking about you. They will be, because your presence, your energy, and your growth will leave a lasting impression. Now, it's time to stop worrying about how others perceive you and start investing in the only thing that truly matters: yourself. Let people come to you, not because you forced it, but because you became someone they couldn't forget. Conclusion true. Impact comes from within making. Someone miss you is not about playing games, manipulating emotions, or creating artificial distance. It is about becoming so complete within yourself that your presence naturally leaves an impact. When you cultivate a life of purpose, emotional independence, and self-improvement, you don't have to chase attention. It finds you. The irony is that the less you focus on making someone miss you, the more likely it is to happen. Why? Because you shift from being reactive to proactive, from seeking validation to living with purpose. People are drawn to those who are strong, self-assured, and deeply engaged in their own growth. When you embody these qualities, your presence becomes valuable, and your absence is felt, not because you forced it, but because you genuinely brought something meaningful into people's lives. Encourage reflection. Are you seeking validation or building a fulfilling life? At this point, it's important to pause and reflect. Are you structuring your life around external validation? Are you measuring your self-worth by how much attention you receive? Or are you focused on becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of who is watching? Instead of asking, "How do I make them miss me?" ask yourself, "How can I build a life that is so fulfilling that my happiness is never dependent on someone else's presence?" When you answer that question honestly, you will realize that true attraction, connection, and admiration come not from seeking, but from becoming. Join the journey of self-mastery. If you found these insights valuable and want to continue learning how Stoicism can transform your mindset, relationships, and overall approach to life, consider subscribing. This is just the beginning of a journey toward emotional resilience, inner peace, and true self-confidence. Let's continue exploring the power of ancient wisdom in modern life. And remember, the most powerful presence is not the one that demands attention. It's the one that commands respect through strength, wisdom, and authenticity. Thank you for being here. Until next time, stay grounded, stay resilient, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.